As you can see, we have got yet another package. I'm getting back into the habit of just buying stuff to open for this channel, but that seems to work great for y'all. If you read the title correctly, you would know that we've got another iPhone and iPad lot. But as to what comes specifically in here, there is a red iPhone 7 with a cracked display, a black iPhone 7 Plus with a cracked display, an iPhone 6S, an iPhone XR with a cracked display, an iPad Pro 9.7 inch, and an iPad mini first generation. All these devices are Find My iPhone off, and I managed to get it for $140. They accepted an offer. The parts for the cracked devices are already on the way, but as of recording this intro, they are not here yet. Today is Monday, June 30th. All the parts are expected to be here by Thursday, so hopefully this video can be up by Friday. So it is in fact now Tuesday, July 8th. This video is absolutely not up by Friday, but that's not my fault. The parts didn't show up until yesterday. Let's go ahead and get this big phone lot open. I've been pretty excited about this since I ordered it. Specifically, the iPhone XR in this lot is a 128 gigabyte Coral model and appears to be running iOS 13 or 14 based on the setup screen. The LCD is pretty badly broken, but that's okay. I've already got a replacement on the way. And if I want to, in the meantime, I have an iPhone XR I could pull the screen off of to use it as a tester. Anyways, let's go ahead and open up this box, and man, that's a pretty color. Here we have the iPhone XR individually wrapped. Put that to the side. Next is the red iPhone 7. I've always wanted one of these, and it's a 128 gig too, so I'm honestly kind of excited about this. Next up, we'll go ahead and pull out the 7 Plus. And included in here are also some screen protectors for some of the phones, which I guess I'll have to see if they're decent. If they are, I'll use them. Here's the screen protectors. And here is the iPhone 6S. This one does not have a cracked screen. This one's actually in really nice shape. Here is the iPad mini first generation. This one's also in really nice shape. And last but not least, we have the iPad Pro 9.7 inch. This one is also in really nice condition as well. And this is actually quite a lot. I'm excited about this, especially for what I paid for what I got. First, I'm gonna start off by opening the iPhones, and I can open up the iPads at the end. First, let's do the iPhone 6S. Go ahead and unwrap it. You can see it does have some marks on the back from a case. The screen has the bubble wrap marks, but other than that, appears to be in really, really nice condition. That's great. Next, I'll go ahead and open up the iPhone 7 Plus. Go ahead and unwrap it. Try to fight through the bubble wrap and tape. And this device does have, unfortunately, a shattered display, but it does look like it probably still works. The cracks aren't that bad. It doesn't look like it was thrown or anything. It looks like just they got unlucky with a drop. The body of this phone is not in terrible shape either. It's got some marks on the back from being in a case. Other than that, it looks pretty nice, and the screen doesn't have that many scratches. It's just cracked. Next up is the red iPhone 7. Pulling it out of the wrapper. Just like the other ones, there are a couple of marks on the back from being in a case. Other than that, it does look really good. The screen has few scratches, but is unfortunately shattered. Wow, this looks great. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I did confirm with the seller before I bought this. They confirmed with me through eBay messages that they've already gone ahead and removed all these devices from their iCloud and erased them. Next up is the iPhone XR. This is the only one that was shown turned on in the photos, and I could tell it was running iOS 13 or 14 on the setup screen. The LCD is pretty broken, but I bet you I can get it to set up. Here we have the XR. Now this one's another story. The screen does have some pretty good scratches all over it, as well as it being obviously pretty terribly shattered. The back has some marks from being in a case, actually quite a few, but there's no cracks and no scratches, so it looks pretty good. The frame looks to be a bit dirty down at the bottom. Other than that, is overall in really nice condition. No marks or anything on the corners or sides, so that's nice. Looks like I accidentally hit the power button on the iPhone 7. I'm just gonna turn that over as I don't want to test any of these yet. Next, let's just get these screen protectors open. I'm not exactly sure what models they were for. I can't remember, but we're gonna find out. We have 4.7 inch and iPhones 7, 8 Plus size, 10s Max and 11 Pro Max. Kind of random, but cool. These two will get used. Now, let's get the iPad mini opened up. I'm saving that iPad Pro for last as something I've kind of always wanted, but never thought I would actually go out and buy. Here, I'll go ahead and get the iPad mini unwrapped. You can see the frame of it is in really nice shape with very minimum scratches. The screen is also basically brand new. This one I believe is either a 16 or 32 gigabyte model and is probably running the latest version. Next up, we have the iPad Pro. Go ahead and unwrap the iPad Pro. Okay, as you can see, there's some bubble wrap prints on the screen. Other than that, it's basically brand new. The back as well is in very, very nice condition with pretty much no scratches at all. I'm not really seeing any damage or basically any signs of use at all on this iPad. In the photos, it was shown actually turned on running iOS 16. I forgot this one was also shown turned on. But wow, I'm excited about the condition of this thing. Okay, so now it's time to actually start testing some of these phones. First, let's go ahead. I'll save the XR for last. Let's see if the 6S has any charge. And it looks like it does. That's exciting. And we'll do the 7 Plus as well. Looks like the 7 Plus does not have charge. I'll plug this into a charger real quick. Looks like the 6S has turned on. Let's go ahead and check what iOS version it's running. iOS 14, that's cool. I believe this one is a 64 gigabyte model, but I'll set these up in a minute. Okay, now go ahead and turn the Red 7 on. I did actually power it off. Oh, and it looks like the battery's dead. Okay, the iPhone 7 is now turning on, and I'll also turn the XR on. And you can see how messed up the LCD is. That's actually pretty bad. The 7 has turned on, and it looks like this one is also running iOS 14. And now with the XR on, it's time to find out what this is running. English. This one is also running iOS 14. This is 3 in a row running iOS 14. I wonder what the 7 Plus will be on. Anyways, now that I have these on, I'll go ahead and see if the iPad mini has any charge, which it does not, along with the iPad Pro. This one does. And I'm still waiting for that 7 Plus to turn on. But while we're waiting for that, I'll go ahead and set up the iPhone 6S. As you can see, it activates just fine. I'll go ahead and see. Touch ID seems to be working. Here we are on the home screen of iOS 14. It looks like this iPhone 6S is running iOS 14.8.1 and is a 64 gigabyte locked to AT&T. Now the iPhone XR, if it will let me set it up. I hope the touchscreen isn't too glitchy. Let me put in my Wi-Fi password. Surprisingly, the touch does seem to work just fine. This one is activated just fine. That's nice to see. I'll go ahead and test if Face ID works. Face ID does in fact work just fine. I'll go ahead and set a passcode because now I'm forced to. Skip the passcode. I really don't care about this. I'm just trying to see the version. Ooh, that looks nice. Now we'll go ahead and check and see what the iOS version on this XR is. It looks like I can't even pull up the About page. Siri, what iOS version is my iPhone running?
You're running iOS version 14.8.1.
Cool. That's 2 for 14.8.1 now. Now let's go ahead and try to set up the iPhone 7 Plus, which is also running iOS 14. It looks like most of these were probably reset and updated to the latest version of iOS 14 when it was out, and then just now put up for sale quite a few years later. That's interesting. Looks like this one activated as well. No reason that it wouldn't. We'll see if Touch ID works. Seems like it does. This iPhone 7 Plus is on 14.6. That's a change for once, and it's a 128 gig with no SIM restrictions. That's cool. I wonder what the battery health on this phone is. 79, not great. Let's check this one. The XR has got a battery health of 87. That's not too bad. This screen is all out of whack though. This is driving me nuts. And then the iPhone 6S has a battery health of 70%. Looks like both of these at a minimum will need new batteries. Now finally, let's set up the red iPhone 7. Yet again, perfect activation. Touch ID works. And here on the red iPhone 7, it looks like it is running iOS 14.6 as well. This one is locked to AT&T still, and there's a 128 gig. And that makes me wonder if I could get any of these unlocked from AT&T. I guess I'll have to try. And the battery health on here is 71. Looks like I'm gonna need 3 new batteries for these. Wow. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and set up the iPad. We'll go ahead and set this up. Yet again, no iCloud or activation issues. We'll see if Touch ID works, which it does. 5 for 5. And here we are, 32 gigabytes of storage on the latest version of iOS 16, which is the latest supported version for this iPad. But it is also a cellular model, which means it also has GPS, so that's nice. And that iPad mini is still gonna need to charge. Not too eager to get to test that, if I'm being honest. So far, this is a really good pullout. I'm gonna be honest, I'm excited about what I've found so far. All 4 running iOS 14, which is definitely a great find, especially on the Red 7 and the 7 Plus. And of course on the XR, one of the main reasons that I bought the lot. Now I've got both a blue one and a coral one running iOS 14. I think that's a nice little pair. I like these 2 colors. Anyway, I'm now going to wait the next 3 or 4 days and wait for all the parts to come in for these phones. And as they come in, I'll go ahead and get them repaired. But I'll get back to you guys once I actually have some parts for these phones.
1 week later.
All right, it is now Monday, July 7th. It has been an entire week since I unboxed all the phones to begin with, but now we've got a couple of packages to unbox. These include the parts that I will need to replace the screens on the iPhone 7, XR, and 7 Plus. We'll save this one for last. Let's start off by unboxing the iPhone 7 screen, which I know is inside of here. This one arrived a couple days ago. The other one's just arrived today. And this one also does come with a screen protector included, which is actually really awesome in my opinion. I know this is just a case box, but that reminded me that the screen itself comes with one as well. There's a screen protector. Here we have 2 iPhone 7 screens. That's weird. I only ordered 1. Interesting. Okay, here is the first one. This one looks to have Apple Glass on it. There's a stamp on the LCD itself, but the cable also has the Apple stamp. And let's take a look at the other one. Here, yep, Apple stamp and Apple stamp. It looks like they both are OEM screens with like an original glass and frame put on here. I don't know why they sent me 2. That's kind of interesting. I got a second protector as well, but I don't think I'm gonna be contacting them asking if they want this second screen back. I guess I'll have to find something to put this screen on. Anyways, let me repackage this real quick. Now I'll go ahead and put that off to the side. We'll go ahead and unbox the iPhone XR screen, which came in a comically large box. Go ahead and slice into the box. Cut the tape on the top. And here we have a really excessive amount of packing for an iPhone XR screen. Here we have the screen itself. Go ahead and pull this out. And wow, that is very, very nice. I don't see almost any marks at all on this glass. There's a couple teeny tiny scratches up at the top. It does come with a warranty. I believe it's 30 days from the seller. Nice, that's a great looking screen. And for y'all curious what I paid for these parts, I'll reveal that right after I unbox the next package. Here we have the last package. So this contains the parts for the iPhone 7 Plus. The one from the lot just has a shattered display, but you may be a little surprised when I open this box. We'll go ahead and cut the tape and on the sides. Lots of packing material. I actually really like that. And here we have not only an iPhone 7 Plus, but also an iPhone 7. Now, when I was shopping for parts for the iPhone 7 Plus, it was very difficult for me to even find screens to begin with, as I only want to buy OEM displays. I was also looking at listings with just iPhone 7 Pluses for parts to take the screens from them, but it was very hard to find listings, and the ones that I did find either had cracked displays or they were just more expensive than what I wanted to pay. Then I found this lot, and it just made more sense financially to buy it instead of waiting around or buying a more expensive display. There weren't very clear pictures in the lot, but this display does have scratches all over the screen. I'm curious how it looks under the tape. It's not that bad. It's just a light layer of scratches, which in my opinion is a lot better than this shattered display. Now, both of these phones were sold as untested and for parts only, but I am curious if they do work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the 2 of these phones on a charger and then go make myself some food as I'm pretty hungry. Now, for those curious what I paid for these parts, the 2 iPhone 7s cost me $26.75. The iPhone 7 screen, which ended up actually having 2 screens in the box, cost me $13.58. And then the screen for that iPhone XR cost me $32.10. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes.
2 hours later.
All right, it's been about 2 hours, but I'm now back. I left the iPhone 7 Plus and 7 on the charger for quite some time. The 7 Plus does not seem to show any signs of life whatsoever, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. The screen does look fine, and there doesn't look to be moisture in the cameras, so I'm not assuming water damage. The iPhone 7, on the other hand, did actually turn on, but has a really messed up touchscreen, which is also an aftermarket display. The home button does not work. I checked the IMEI and it's Find My iPhone on, but I checked the battery health. It's 98%, so I will be taking the battery out and putting it into this red one, as the battery health on this one, as you can see, is a 71, which is absolutely unusable. I charged this phone to 100% last night, and when I woke up this morning, it was dead again. So to get started with the repairs, to finish up this lot, I'm first gonna go ahead and take apart these two iPhone 7s. I'm gonna get the screen and battery from this one. I'm gonna take the battery just so I can test it, and if it has a better battery health than the 79% that's on this iPhone 7 Plus right here, as you can see, then I will be putting the battery into there. If the battery health is somehow worse, then of course it'll just stay here, but I will be taking the screen. And of course, this one, I'm just taking the battery out. I decided to work on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus first, as I'd rather save the easiest thing for last, where I don't have to take apart 4 different phones. Let's just go ahead and get started with disassembling the 2 of these iPhones. Okay, so I've now gotten the 2 parts iPhone 7s taken apart and gotten the parts I needed out of them. The screen and battery from the 7 Plus and just the battery out of the black iPhone 7. Now it's time to go ahead and open up the 7 Plus and test this battery and put the screen on. Hopefully this battery has a good battery health. If it does, that's great. I don't have to buy another battery for this one. And then this iPhone 7, I'll go ahead and open up. We'll do this after the 7 Plus. And then I'll be putting the screen inside of this box onto here, one of the 2 screens that was delivered. So we're gonna start with this 7 Plus and go ahead and get this finished. Okay, so I've now gotten the new screen connected up to the 7 Plus along with the other battery. It's of course not stuck down, and I haven't even taken the old battery out yet, but I just plugged it into a charger. Of course, it's completely dead right now. The charging screen did show up, and when I unplugged it, it actually stayed for a couple seconds before it actually shut off. So the battery does seem to actually function. I'm gonna put this phone aside and let it charge while I go ahead and get the iPhone 7 opened up and get this display and of course the battery replaced, because 71% health is just not really gonna cut it anymore. All right, I've now finished installing the new screen and battery into the red iPhone 7. Now I'm waiting for it to turn on so I can test it. I don't want to put it all the way back together and then realize that there's something wrong with it. All right, now that it's on, the home button seems to be working like normal. Our battery health is now 99% instead of 79. That's a huge improvement. Unfortunately, of course, there is no longer True Tone because I replaced the screen, but that's all right. It's a lot better than having a screen that looks like this. Touch ID is also working just fine, even through this plastic. Now that I've made sure the phone actually works, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off again and seal it up, put all the screws back in, and at the same time, go ahead and do the same thing with the iPhone 7 Plus. So with the battery that was already in this phone, the battery health was, I believe, 79%. And with the new battery, we have 78%. Somehow it was actually worse than the battery already in here. I don't understand how. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and keep the battery that's already in here. There's no point in swapping it out for a worse battery. And then I'll go ahead and order a battery and soon in the future, go ahead and replace it. There won't be a video about it as it's a very quick and easy repair. I was hoping to have gotten a battery from that other 7 Plus, but oh well, at least we got a screen. Okay, the repairs to the red iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus are now complete. The 7 Plus isn't exactly perfect. It needs a new battery still. Funnily enough, the battery health, now that I've installed another battery and then put this one back in, was previously showing as 79, is now showing as 81. That's a bit random. Here's the red iPhone 7. I'm glad to finally have a new screen on here. I've always wanted one of these, but never really went out of my way to actually get one. I'm glad that I finally got one. I'll definitely be keeping this. That might get sold, I'm just not sure yet. But now that I've got a fresh screen on, let's go ahead and peel the plastic off to reveal a couple of fingerprints from myself because that plastic came up a few times. A fresh iPhone 7 screen. Now that we've got the 2 of these phones fixed up, I'm now gonna turn my attention to the iPhone XR. This one should be the easiest as I'm only needing to open one phone. Before that, I will go ahead and put the parts iPhone 7s back together. They're off camera. Anyways, let's just get started with this XR so it as well can finally have a new screen and a new life. So this pretty much concludes the video. The 3 shattered iPhones are now fixed, and this one got a new battery as well. First of all, the iPhone XR now has a brand new display with pretty much no scratches on it. There's a couple up at the top and the bottom. Other than that, it's 100% fresh. It is an OEM display, but of course, as I don't have the stuff required to reprogram displays, this does not have True Tone from the original screen. If I do get the equipment for that in the future, I still have the original screen laying around and could always do it to this phone. Now I am planning to keep this iPhone XR, unlike some of the other things from this phone lot. This one is a 128GB model, as you can see right there. It is unfortunately SIM locked to AT&T. My carrier is Verizon, so I cannot use this on my network, but I am planning to keep it as a secondary jailbreak phone, and the extra storage is really nice. I think it'll go nicely alongside my blue iPhone XR. This one is running iOS 14.4.1 and is a 64GB model. But unlike the Coral one, this one is actually carrier unlocked. Next up is the iPhone 7 Plus. This one went from having a shattered screen to one that just has some basic scratches all over it. It does have a little chip up in the top. I wish I did get a screen in a little better condition, but I didn't really want to wait and have the video come out really late. The phone is 100% functioning. The battery health on it is reading as 81%. It's a 128GB model, and it is actually carrier unlocked, as you can see. This is one of the phones that will likely be put up for sale on my eBay. I'm not sure if it will be up as soon as the iPads, but I'm pretty sure that I will end up selling it. Next up, the red iPhone 7. This one now has a battery health of 99%, as you can see. This is a phone that I will be keeping. I got a brand new refurbished LCD on here. The frame is in pretty nice shape, other than this one bottom corner, as you can see. It's a 128GB model, but is unfortunately locked to the AT&T carrier. Now, I have not tried getting this one unlocked. I tried getting the XR unlocked, and unfortunately, it said it was still on an account. There you can see 128GB and unfortunately a SIM lock, but I'll see if I can get that unlocked. I'm glad this has a fresh screen on it. I'm gonna be putting a screen protector on it as soon as this video is over. This is a phone that I've always wanted, but never went out of my way to get my hands on, but I'm glad that I finally have one. And then the iPhone 6S. Now, I wish I had a battery laying around to replace the one in this 6S, as it's absolutely horrible. But nonetheless, it is an iPhone 6S, 64GB on iOS 14.8.1. It is locked to AT&T, but just like the 7, I'm gonna try getting it unlocked. Now, for the iPad Pro and the iPad Mini, both of those will be put up for sale. I was thinking about keeping the iPad Pro, but after messing around with it for a couple days, I decided I'd rather just sell it. And if I do want to get an iPad Pro in the future, I'll likely get a 10.2-inch 2017 model. Those have a 120 hertz refresh rate screen, and these ones just don't. So you can expect both of these to be up for sale soon, and the 7 Plus probably following right after. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, as of right now, only 6% of my viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. So if you're new, please consider hitting that red subscribe button, as it would really help me in reaching my goal of 13,000 subscribers. And last but not least, membership shoutouts. Huge shout out to these 3 members. I have lost 2 members since my last video, but I'm not too surprised, as I've been pretty infrequent with uploads lately, which is another thing I do want to apologize about. I was busy with summer sports during the entirety of the month of June, but from now on I will be free until school starts again, so expect more uploads. But huge shout out to these 3, link in the description to their channels. And if you didn't know, I do have channel memberships. If you're interested in joining, it's $1.99 a month. There's a link down in the description, and it just helps me to continue making videos like these. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and as always, peace out, guys.